There you go, man. He's starting the show.
Yeah, I mean, talking about sobriety, women stuff, a big issue I feel like today with women being sober is not mentally, spiritually being sober. I feel like it's more of just like a physical aspect. There's no daily reprieve. How I got sober was working steps and like really finding connection with God again and changing every single thing about myself. I stopped sexualizing myself. I stopped dressing a certain way. I stopped manipulating men for profit, whether that's online, dressing a certain way, taking pictures for a company. I cut all of that out. You know, when I go to motorcycle events, when I do anything, I am like a woman in sobriety. You know, I'm a woman of God. I'm a woman of a conservativeship. And that's what I feel like a lot of women lack. And if they're comfortable with doing what they're doing, I'm totally okay with it. And like, no hate. And I'll support you because I love everybody with what they want to do. But for me, when I start doing those acts, it's like I'm basically loaded. You know, and it'll chip away at me and chip away at me and chip away at me and chip away at me. And then something traumatic can happen to me. And then I can lose my sobriety over it because I'm acting as if I was using drugs. Because that's what I did when I was using drugs was I was manipulating men for a profit. You know, I was lying to people. I was going, you know, just it's as simple as going into a bar and walking up to a man and flirting with him with no intentions of having a relationship with him, no intentions of getting his phone number or texting him or calling him. You just want that free fucking drink. It's just as bad as that. And I feel like there's such a huge double standard with women and they don't really realize it. And I just am not down for that. I'm not. Every single day I have a daily reprieve that's contingent to the maintenance of my spiritual condition. And I walk with that and I fucking run with it. Coming into sobriety and now starting to push content on social media is really tricky and really weird for me, especially working with brands that I feel like may have other women be like very sexy and do different things. I'm still trying to figure that whole aspect out because I want to make sure that I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, you did really good today. And you didn't like sexualize yourself for a profit or for someone else's gain. That's really important to me. It's like a huge one. You know, working the steps also, I feel like that's something that's really talked about, or at least I talked about it with a sponsor. I like really got with women and, you know, they all told me you can't really act like this or you'll get loaded. And I know that from trial and error because the first time I ever tried to get sober, I got loaded worse than I was before when I was running the streets.
Right.
So that's just how I feel on that topic.
Wow, that's a great intro for the show. Like, I mean, we're pretty goddamn good, dude.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, Ashley, no introduction. That's awesome. That's a great segue into the goddamn show. Like, there's nothing more. Welcome to the show, guys. This is Ashley, and she's a fucking powerhouse. But so to kind of go back, so when you were manipulating men for money, like, was that your get down? Did you have a hustle?
No, but I would find myself like, I wasn't doing anything like Wild Town or like OF or stuff like that. But when I was down and out, like I always used like people being like, oh, you're pretty. Oh, you're an attractive young girl to get what I want because it's easy as a woman, you know, just to find this sucker, you know, that's down and out to be like, oh, you know, I really like you and I'll hang out with you and we'll have a good time. It's literally just as little as that. That's the same thing as basically having sex with someone. You're still manipulating them and it's not okay.
Yeah. What was your drug of choice?
Heroin.
Fuck yeah, give me some.
I'm a big old junkie.
That's right. Stay up, dude. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, you're clean for what, 8 years, right? 9 years?
Yeah. December 14th or 4th, I'll have 9. I don't even know my own sobriety day. Isn't that wild?
It's rough. There's days I can't remember my own fucking middle name. Once you get
so much time, I feel like you're like,
yeah,
it's just there. It's just like who I've become.
I know. So my wife just celebrated 9 and she was like, well, it's not as cool as 10, which I thought that same thing, but I'm like, dude, 9 years is a long time.
Insane.
It's a long time
so
for
rad.
addicts and alcoholics not pick up or use. Like, I'm just like, what the frick, man?
Hell yeah. And she's out there doing like the business grind too, right? Yeah, which is so rad. Love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, she does. She's kind of gone through like different changes, you know, in her life. she was doing like TikTok and like mom stuff, and then she was basically stopped. She's like, this whole tripod and
It's so
come
hard.
shopping with me. She's like, it's so annoying.
It's so hard and so annoying.
But she was making money. You know what I mean? It was like it was pretty cool to see. She was like very into something, and she's like, my wife's the type of person like I say that she obsesses, but when she focuses on something, it's like, that's it.
Hell
what
yeah.
I mean? There's like, boom. But, right now she's just focusing on our kids and like God. Like
I love that.
We both like went through a like tough time this year with like relationships, and we needed something more than recovery. And my wife, since me being with her, we always went to church, right, on Christmas and Easter and that sort of thing with the family. And we tried something different. We wanted to go to church, so we tried a few around here, and nothing felt like the normal, like good, like when I walked into this church, like even the first couple times, like I would just get goosebumps, you know what I mean?
So
like,
the vibe was like there.
yeah, it was totally there. So
Hell
we end up going back, and we go there every Sunday. It's in Rancho Bernardo, and we go there every Sunday, or at least, we try to if we're here. But it's really cool. So I follow my wife, with everything. And now and I'm not as far as long as she is. I mean, she's like reading the Bible every day and like really like doing the work, and I'm not there yet, but I'm reading books and like trying to figure it out myself.
I mean, everybody has their own path,
Yeah.
and that's so rad that she's doing that. But also, I feel like what you're doing is so cool because when you're like grateful for something, being grateful and showing gratitude is like actually an action.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're doing is helping so many people because you're giving people that have a shitty past a platform to talk about, hey, I fucked up. I did all these really messed up things, but like now I'm super successful and everything's going to be okay. I feel like a lot of people when they're like down and out, like right in that moment, they're like, I can't get sober. I can't get it together. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. So when you're sitting here and you're like bringing in these cool people that like have nice bikes, nice Harleys, they have fucking cool boyfriends, cool girlfriends, wives, husbands, kids. They're like, oh, like if those people were in like hospitals, institutions, rehabs, were fucking junkies on the streets and now they're sober and they're killing it, like I can too.
Yeah.
So
that's the beauty behind it, especially the podcast. Like
100%.
reaching out to people, so many people, like it's wild, dude. It's so crazy, like the feedback. And that's why I just keep doing it, just because of that.
It's the best feeling, huh?
But it's also cool sitting down. I love talking recovery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in motorcycles, if you're in the motorcycle community, I mean, I've had plenty of people on the show that are not in the motorcycle community. They just are really great in recovery. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, I had a professor on that made his own methamphetamine.
Dude, that's so sick.
He made his own methamphetamine, and he's a professor at a college here. Like the guy's a friggin' genius. You know what I mean?
I
But he
love
has
that.
30 years clean.
He was just messing around for a little
Dude,
bit.
straight up making his own meth. Like, I don't know what he called it, but
He was fucking breaking batting it.
dude, straight up.
That's
like
so
he got
insane.
kicked out of his what was it, Michigan State for stealing the fucking products to make his own meth, and he got kicked out, and he still didn't have a problem. He's like, oh, whatever,
I feel that.
Totally.
I was like so down and out and I literally had like nothing. And I was like, I'm okay. I'm okay. I didn't even have like money. I was like trying to manipulate men. Hey, let me sleep at your motel over on fucking Beach and Ball. I was like 16 years old.
Wow.
And I come from such a good family. That's another thing why I really didn't stay the first time. I remember going to my first AA meeting and I like sat there and everybody was like, my parents are like these alcoholics and my dad went to prison or this or that. And I'm like, my parents are still together. Like, I came from such a loving home, Southern Orange County. I had everything presented to me to be a young, successful woman. And I fucking went the whole other way. I was committing crimes. I was running the streets. I was hanging out with gangbangers. And I didn't care. I didn't care if I was getting in trouble with the law. I literally didn't even care that someone was telling me when I could fucking shower, when I could eat, when I could go to sleep. I didn't give a fucking shit. All I could think about was getting back out on the streets, running the streets and getting high. Because like that way of feeling like I was going to like vomit or literally shit my pants, because that's the reality of a junkie. All I could think about was getting well. I like literally did not care about anything else. I didn't care if I was going to die. I didn't care about my parents. I didn't care about my siblings. Didn't fucking care. And just like one day I feel like it finally just like snapped. And I was like, I'm fucking tired. Like, I'm so tired and I'm so worn down and I don't want to feel like shit anymore. And I want to be able to like look in the mirror and like love who I see and like feel good about what I'm doing. And I like miss my fucking parents. My parents were like, fuck you, bitch. Like, you keep stealing from us. Get out.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
like,
how many more things do we have to lock up?
Yeah, we don't
here?
want you in here. Like, don't come to Christmas and nod out at the fucking table while we're saying grace.
Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have 2 siblings. And what's cool now too is they both have kids. And like, I'm the first person that they call when they're like, hey, can you watch our kids?
Yeah.
And that's so cool for me. And also like, I want to have kids so bad and I want to get married and I want to have like this rad traditional style like home. And I feel like that was so unattainable for me because of where I came from and like being a shitty woman. That's what I'm talking about when I say like I changed all aspects of my life. And I really am trying to like promote, especially on my social media, like a different way of writing too. For women, I don't want women to feel like they need to sexualize themselves or wear little t-shirts on their motorcycles. Like, it's cute when it's hot and it's cool and I get it, but it's like, you know, why are we doing that? Are we riding a bike like for men or are we riding a bike for ourselves? It's not liberating to get on a motorcycle, you know, in a bra and then it doesn't matter how good of a rider you are. If someone fucking hits you and all of your skin's gone, then what? Why are we doing that, ladies? I don't think that it's the coolest sometimes. And that's just my opinion. And I feel like the more that I talk about it, the more backlash I get.
Yeah, I was going to say, you saying that right now, I can already hear like some of the, you know, influencers or women in the community going like, who is this that talk? You know what I mean? Like they just are haters. They're so bad.
I literally just went down 3 weeks ago. I was going 15 miles per hour. I was fully in gear. I had a fucking jacket on and a cut. Look at my elbow.
Yeah.
So be so for real,
right.
You know?
Right.
Like, I'm not out here trying to look good while I'm riding my bike. I'm out here trying to ride my fucking bike and get some throttle therapy and not die.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to do.
Right. Literally not die.
Literally just not die or break any bones.
And hopefully I'm, you know, like covered up too, you know?
Yeah. And stay warm.
Oh, man. Oh, here's my wife texting me on the freaking podcast. I can't believe it. You know what I mean?
I love that for you.
I know. Well, it's funny now because it's like we have a kid that breaks his arms now and stuff, you know? So it's like...
Yeah, but that's how you know you're going to raise a cool kid.
I know. He like breaks his arm and it's like now I have to like be by the phone just in case. Like,
oh, an emergency happens.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah. Good job. Her phone, she butt dialed me. So that's good. Good to know. I mean, it's so crazy because it's like she's always saying, keep your phone on me. And I don't because it's like on vibrate or whatever. And
yeah.
Like, now that my kid literally just broke his arm and my daughter's crawling around too. So I'm like, you know, the Woolsies are just actually, you know, they just break stuff. And so it's just,
it's got to stay on
I
now.
need to fucking be on.
I feel like all men are bad at answering their phone.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, no, let me
my dad, my dude, my brother. I have to call at least like 6 times. And then by the time they answer, I'm so mad. And I can't even be like, cool.
Oh my God. That's so fucking funny.
I have all of their locations though. So at least if it was really serious, I could just track them down.
Yeah. You're just going to stalk them.
Yeah.
Be like, I see you.
You know, I'm kind of not the best tech savvy either. I kind of just realized that I could do that.
What's that?
Like find people's locations.
Oh, find a location?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know too much about it. Luckily for me, my wife knows about it. So, you know, I mean, she's already tracking me. So I
like
out
it.
how to do
It's safe though, too, when you're riding your bike.
No,
I feel like that's smart. I have a lot of friends that ride where we share each other's locations.
Me too.
Which is rad. And especially if you're riding to meet up with them or like someone in a pack falls behind or something, you can figure out where they are.
Yeah, me too. Me and Taylor. I mean, I have Jay. There's a bunch of people that I have too that we all ride together or just, you know, have each other's locations just so if anything happens ever.
Yeah, I think it's a safety thing for sure.
All right, so let's go back real quick because there's a lot. So you said you're from South Orange County, is that right?
Southern Orange County, San Clemente is my hood.
Wow.
It's a really scary hood.
I heard it is pretty hood.
I mean, there's a couple parts that are really ratchet, but for the most part, I feel like everybody's kind of cosplaying gangsters over there.
Oh, really?
A little bit.
Yeah.
There are some gangsters there. Hopefully I don't get beat up for saying that. But for a majority, it's a lot of, you know, wealthy people. Yeah. There's some scary individuals for sure that grew up over there, but for the most part, it's nice.
It's really nice.
It's really nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much San Diego, but whatever, you're right there.
I pretend that I live in San Diego.
Right.
Yeah.
Does your family still live there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My sister just moved to Oceanside, so I'm hoping to like hop over and follow her.
Right. Is that where you live still?
San Clemente.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
You made me drive all the way here.
Wow. That's crazy.
Commitment.
And you went to the wrong location, too.
I went,
Let's
yeah.
talk about it. I mean, so after I texted and said,
I'm directionally challenged.
Yeah.
I'm just a girl.
Well, that's crazy because I thought that, well, I don't even know where you live, to be honest. I just thought you were local here.
Yeah, because I like riding more here. Honestly though, the last couple of days that I had to ride in fucking traffic, I'm actually contemplating if I should say that or not, because I almost died like 3 times yesterday because people weren't paying attention. But I don't know, just like the coast and the vibes here are just different. And I don't know how to explain it. In Orange County, I don't fit in. And sometimes when I tell people that, they're like confused because maybe the way that I look, but I don't have any plastic surgery. I don't have lip filler. I don't have Botox, and I just want to ride my fucking motorcycle and I want to go thrifting and I want to do like grungy shit. And I don't care about what the fuck I look like sometimes. I tried to like dress up a little bit for here so I didn't look like a gremlin.
Right.
But I mean, I just feel like everybody out there is like cosplaying this like Orange County rich person that like, I don't understand what we're doing. I'm like so tired of it. And when I come down to Oceanside and I hang out with the girls down there, they all have the same vibe as me and they like don't give a shit.
Yeah,
and I love it. Yeah. No one cares about what kind of fucking car you drive or anything. All they care about is, hey, let's get on our motorcycles and let's go eat some fucking food.
Right. That's pretty cool.
That's my dream.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of people that are San Diego. I mean, it's so funny too. Like you have in this county alone, you have so many different areas. And they're so diverse, like North County and Oceanside. It's like not even San Diego. It's like its own little
100%.
Area.
I love it.
Then you have down here in South Bay.
And I also like how like interactive the homeless people are in Oceanside.
Really? Like, what do you mean?
I like wish that I was normal and I'm not.
Yeah.
People tell me my vibe is like, I don't know. I've almost been like kidnapped. People do really weird shit to me all the time. And they just say my vibe's weird, which I didn't know that. I just thought it was fun, but whatever. I feel like homeless people like hone in on me, like the super crazy mentally ill ones, and they just go off and I love it.
Like they start yelling at you? Or?
Oh yeah. Like there's this one guy in San Clemente that like lives under like a bench and it's by this 7-Eleven and this thrift store that I love. So I always go in there and every time I walk by, he's like, eat my fucking ass, bitch.
Really?
Every time. And I love it.
That's a fucking
I'm like
cool
not,
way to flirt.
Yeah. And I'm not
Louise,
even
what do you think about that?
scared.
That's a fucking... That's a baller move,
I'm not even
dude.
scared. I like think it's the best thing ever. And people are like, get away from him. Get away from him.
What's his name?
I think it's David.
You haven't asked? Like, but you want me to eat your ass, but you're not going to fucking, what's your name, dude?
Sometimes he's acting too crazy. I got to just like let him get it out. And then when
Yeah.
I leave, sometimes he just like does a little
It
wave
just
smile.
depends on
Yeah.
what maybe he's did some meds or some meth or some shit. Huh?
Sometimes when I go to the like Oceanside night market too, I feel like they hone in on me. I had one chick like really hard make eye contact with me last Thursday while she was peeing.
Really?
Yeah, and it was really weird. And
Straight
I couldn't
eye
look
contact?
away. Yeah,
Yeah.
because my vibe is so weird. Like I love weird stuff. And people are always like, it's only weird if you make it weird. And I'm like, please make it weird. Please make it weird. Please make it weird. I can't help it.
So how did you get this superpower, I guess?
Heroin.
It does.
Drugs, yeah.
It does,
It's
totally.
the tweaker riz.
Yeah,
That's what
totally.
I call it. I have just like this after fact. A lot of people don't know that I was like a huge junkie. Like I was so ratchet, And because I didn't like really have pick marks or anything left over. I feel like some people have like a physical effect after being that loaded. And I was lucky that I didn't, but I definitely still got a little bit of the tweaker riz.
Yeah. You had to.
They just feel it on me
Yeah.
immediately.
But that's crazy because I don't even get that too. I wish I did. But
Maybe drink a
then
little bit more like caffeine when you go out and just like
Yeah,
move
but
around a little
I
bit.
don't know. My tolerance level is like really low now when
For
it comes
caffeine?
to that stuff.
Oh, or
No,
weirdos?
just for like because I feel it's weird. I'm to the point now to where I'm like really sympathetic too because I'm like that should have been me.
I don't know though.
Like the guy that's yelling on the corner right now.
Yeah, which I feel that. I feel that in my core. And that honestly was me for a sec. I lost my mind a couple times like that. But then when I was doing that, I didn't fucking want help.
No.
I was vibing.
Yeah, no.
You know?
You're in your own
So
space.
sometimes when I see them, like I'll buy them food, or if they're cold, like maybe I could try to help them out with like some clothing or something like that. But other than that, I'm like, you're fucking vibing. Like if they're loaded, they're killing it.
For sure.
You know, if they're noodle grooving around, they're living their life.
Yeah. Looking like
Don't feel bad. They're stoked.
Looking like those airmen that are fucking flapping in the fucking wind, dude. I love it.
They have one at the Wiener Schnitzel in Oceanside, literally right when you get off the fucking exit for Coast Highway. And there is always homeless people right there, and they're all noodling with that thing. I love it.
Just a dance party.
Makes me want a hot dog real bad.
Fuck yeah, that's a good marketing strategy.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Wiener Schnitzel, if you're listening, there you go, dude.
Sponsor us.
Fucking done deal, dude. We can get all the tweakers in fucking San Diego County to come to your locations and fucking sell out, dude.
Messing around at Wiener
Yeah,
Schnitzel.
I like it.
Yeah, hell
Fuck
yeah.
So when did you start using drugs? Or when was your first glimpse of anything?
My siblings are older. I, started partying at a very young age. I started smoking weed at a young age. I was smoking cigarettes. I think the first time I actually started to party, I want to say was probably around 14, which is fairly young.
It's really young.
And I think I did blow and Molly. I think that was like my jam back in the day, and like have like NOS tanks and stuff, at the parties. I would just kind of like tag along with my siblings that are 4 and 7 years older than me.
Oh, wow.
So, I was just like the little sister that like they basically had to babysit, but I was like down to clown, I was like, let's fucking run this shit. So, at 16 years old, I remember going into this liquor store in Southside, and it was a liquor store that I knew my fake ID worked at. And I was like going to buy a bottle, and I ran into this guy that looked fresh off the prison yard. And I was like, wow,
Wow.
this is it for me. And bumped into him and everything. And he was like, oh, excuse me. And then walked away. And I was like, damn, that was crazy. And then I went to this fucking party, and he was there. And so then
It was fate.
It was fate.
Yeah.
It was fate that I was going to meet this guy, and I wasn't going to leave his side for a couple years. And he was going to teach me that if you're smoking it, you're wasting it. How to spit, how to curse, how to fucking commit crimes, how to be a gang member.
Just a knight in shining armor.
Really cool shit. He manipulated me into getting married inside of a federal state prison when I was 18 years old. And I was like, man, this guy is like the sickest.
Yeah,
He's
right.
fucking killing it.
Right.
Yeah, and then I sobered up a little bit, and I called my mom crying, and I was like, hey, I need to get an annulment. Don't be mad at me. So it actually doesn't count because it was never like certified or whatever, right? So whatever.
Were you guys just playing marriage or something? Or?
No, I just felt so bad. He was looking at a substantial amount of time. I was like so obsessed with this person. And I feel like when you have such a toxic relationship and you guys have this like weird trauma bond when you're like so loaded together, that I just was like so manipulated into doing it. And I remember like once he was kind of gone and he had to catch the train, and when you're in reception, you don't have like a phone, so you can't really make phone calls and stuff. So once I was able to not hear his voice all the time, just like beating things into my brain, I was like, oh, I fucked up. I fucked up, and I was like, hey, I need to get an annulment, and I need it now. And that's what I did. And that's when I tried to start my sobriety career right then and there, and I hadn't even tried heroin yet. So I was just like messing around.
Yeah.
Just doing a little meth.
Was he much older than you, or?
I think he was 6 years older than me. So, I got a little bit sober. I sobered up a little bit, and I got a sponsor, and I was trying to work the steps. I was still putting my hands on people. I was still sexualizing myself. I was doing all this like weirdo shit that I'm like, why would you do that? I got into a relationship really quick in sobriety, and I got loaded with him. He was a tattoo artist. He comes from a lot of money, and he was like, we're going to get loaded. And I was like, yeah, we fucking are.
All right.
And, he went to jail, and I went to detox, and we both got sober again. We stayed together. We bought a home together, and, it didn't last again. I couldn't maintain sobriety again because all I was focusing on was my fucking relationship. And I was with someone that didn't have a relationship with God, didn't have a relationship with anything positive. All he wanted to do was fucking smoke heroin and not out on the goddamn couch. That's all he cared about. And so finally I was like, hey, we're either going to do this thing or like we're not. And that's just how it's going to be. And he was like, okay, we're going to get sober. So we both went back to rehab. We worked the program up in Fullerton, and we bought a house. We bought a tattoo shop together. We lived in Fullerton for a couple of years, and he fucking relapsed. And he relapsed so bad to the point where I was coming home from work and there was a bunch of Southsiders in my fucking garage with mountains and pounds of drugs. And he was like giving them cars or guns or whatever else. Like, and when you have money and you come from like a trust fund, it is like the scariest, most diabolical thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah. Like, you cannot give a junkie money like that. You just can't. So like before this, I had tried heroin and I knew like before this sobriety time, like this is what's going to kill me, because that is like the best feeling I have ever felt in my entire life. And even still to this day, I don't think I've stopped chasing that high, you know, and not saying that and like a me looking to go and get high, but like with everything that I do, I try to do it to the best of my ability. So that way I can feel that like adrenaline, that dopamine, that serotonin, that fucking heroin gave me. Yeah. So with that being said, he relapsed and I'm trying to stay sober because I'm scared. I don't want to die. You know, I had fucking overdosed. I did all sorts of fucked up shit. And he went to prison because he was riding around with an assault rifle and fell asleep at a fucking stoplight on PCH in fucking Huntington Beach.
Fuck yeah.
And the cop was like, what the fuck are you doing, dipshit? So he went to prison and he's like, when I get out, I'm going to get sober and we're going to work it out and everything's going to be great. We fucking got engaged. We planned a whole wedding. Everything was cool because he had someone coming.
Planned all this while he was in?
No, he got out.
Okay.
He was only in for a year. He got out and we planned this wedding and then all this stuff. And then he got off of paper. He didn't have someone telling him what to do anymore. Right. Immediately got loaded. Wow. Immediately. Started beating the absolute shit out of me. So loaded. Kept bringing fucking dogs home. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? COVID happens. And I'm like, I'm fucked. Like, I have nowhere to go. Everything's shutting down. I own a home with him. I own a business with him. What the fuck am I supposed to do? And at this point, I'm kind of pushing back on my parents because my parents know what it looks like to be loaded. They're not dumb. They're not naive. And, you know, I remember it was Easter Sunday and my parents came over and they were just dropping off food. So it's COVID. And I'm like telling him, can you just stay in the fucking house? Because you are like clearly so high. Yeah. Like, just fucking stay inside, dude. He didn't. He came outside and was like, hey, check out this, what I bought, and this, what I bought to my dad. And my dad punched him in the face.
Oh, no.
On our front lawn. Thanks, Dad. And I went inside and he beat the shit out of me after my parents had left. And, you know, he told me it's either me or your dad. And I literally laughed and I said, my dad. And then he chased me down the hall. I locked myself in the bedroom. I threw my dogs out my bathroom window and I had a trash bag of some things and I left and I never went back. I said goodbye. I called my dad. I didn't take any of our cars. I didn't take any money from the home, anything from the business, nothing. I called my dad and I said, hey, can you come get me? And do you think it's okay if I just like crash on your couch with Lana and Luna for a couple months? He was like, abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah, I mean, he's already seen the picture. I mean, if he's punching your dude, you know, he already sees what's going on.
Yeah, he's over it. Well, and to like backtrack on that, you know, my dad is the most important person to me in my entire life ever. Like, I have such a strong relationship with my dad. My dad has been so awesome. He's built me up my entire life. He's always told me I was beautiful. He always told me to like go out for my dreams and succeed. And I think that's why I'm able to be the woman I am today, because my dad was so fucking rad. You know, when my ex had to go to prison and or jail the first time and I was still loaded, my dad had to come over and like rip the fucking carpets out of my house and clean up my house because there was blood everywhere because I couldn't find a vein. I was cutting my body open to get well. And you know, my dad's not conditioned to that. He's not. And my poor dad, I remember my dad coming in and it like almost makes me cry talking about it because I remember seeing his fucking face, and that's like a face that I remember that makes me not ever want to use drugs ever again, as he's ripping carpet out that's soaked in my blood and cleaning my room up of all the needles. And it's like, a parent shouldn't have to fucking do that. That's so embarrassing. And while he's doing this, I'm in the bathroom throwing up because I'm sick. So it's just really fucking shitty. I'm so extremely grateful for my parents that they were able to let me go and do that. And then like getting away from that person, I still had really gnarly shit happen to me that I'm still trying to recover from. I'm still going to court for. I got attacked by 2 guys. And that was so traumatic for me because I lost my memory and I had to be in a neurocognitive outpatient rehab. So walking through that in sobriety and trying to remember who the fuck I am was the gnarliest thing I've ever been through in my entire life. Going to court like every other month and sitting in a room with 2 like grown men that had no regard or respect for my life is so overwhelming. But to be able to like walk out of that courtroom and still have my sobriety is like so gangster to me. And I'm like, I still have a good relationship with my God. I still have a good relationship with my family. And that's all that fucking matters, you know? And I just, it just like is so fucked for me. I feel like right now when it comes to going to court and trying to not have anxiety and still ride my bike and still create content. And then I still work multiple jobs because it's so gnarly out there financially for people.
But you're doing it yourself.
I'm doing it all myself.
So about the boyfriend, so you never took any money from the house?
No.
Like you just literally walked away from everything. Do you ever see him or anything?
No. I, at the beginning, had to change my phone number a lot because he would figure it out and harass me. I think he has a girlfriend now and he sold that house and he moved to like Cathedral City, which like have fun messing around, loser.
Yeah.
People in Cathedral City, though, if they see this, like, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
My bad, but it's pretty methy down there.
No, they know. It's like Blythe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
let's be real here.
We
And
don't need
I was born.
We don't need to sugarcoat shit.
I was born in Bullhead, Arizona. So technically, I was only there for a couple months, but that's pretty methy over there. So I think I can say that those are my people.
Yeah, you're fine.
Whatever.
It's all good. We're addicts. They all will understand.
Okay, good. All right.
And if you live in fucking that, come on. If you live in Blythe, you know it's fucking meth.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
They're messing around.
Yeah,
They're at the
sorry.
Wiener Schnitzel noodling.
Yeah, literally talking to themselves. Eat my fucking ass, motherfucker. Fuck it, what the fuck?
That's my favorite. I took nothing. He's a trust fund baby, and he comes from a lot of money.
Like
and
a lot of money.
A lot of money. He had 9 DUIs. He went to prison only for 9 months. The fuck? He had a sawed-off shotgun, a bunch of heroin, a bunch of Xanax. 9 months.
Yeah, that's wild.
Damn.
We would have been dead if fentanyl would have been around.
100%.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I'm too scared. I'm too scared.
Yeah, me too.
And I was like the girl that would like show up at someone's house and I'm like digging in my purse. I have like a dog in my hand that's like not my dog. And I'm like looking for a lighter, all the lighters in my hand. And I'm like, are you going to let me in? And they're like, you fucking overdose. You can't come in. And I'm like, is so-and-so in there? You know? And they're like, get the fuck out.
Yeah, you're fucking nuts. You're going to die.
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking put ice cubes up your butthole.
100%. 100%.
Been there, done
They're like,
that.
you need to get out. Like we can't have you here.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm sure you experienced too. Like this conversation with addicts, especially heroin addicts. I've fucking brought people back to life so many fucking times. And that was like normal behavior. Like that's what's so crazy.
100%.
It's so far away, but I still remember it.
Yeah.
You know, like I went to my county funded fucking rehab, right? That saved
low
my
bottom
fucking
indigent
life.
recovery shit.
Yeah, like that saved my fucking life. And I'm there to see my counselor. The next thing you know, like this dude just fucking falls out right in the fucking place. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. And immediately I just went to like start pumping on his chest. But I'm like, damn, I haven't done that in a long time. But
So wild.
it's nuts how you react like that, right? Because people are fucking dying.
They are.
Fuck, I couldn't even imagine. Like I've said this 1,000 times on my show, but it's like when we're all getting into a room about to get loaded, like, okay, Ashley, Dweezy, so you go first, and then we're gonna Narcan you.
Yeah,
and then,
because I'm the fallout.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? Who wants to fucking get loaded like that?
That's
but
a
people
real
still
thing.
do, though.
Dude, I was trying to like have concoctions. I would smoke a little bit of meth and then I would do like my shot. So hopefully it would like counteract. Right. And then I thought I was like killing it. I thought I was like this mad scientist where I had like this good concoction of like how I would like come up and come down. And then when I like was coming down too much and I didn't want to get super loaded, I would just eat a bunch of Xanax. And then I would like wake up and be like, that's crazy. It's like literally been 2 weeks because I was barred out and you don't remember anything.
Yeah, no.
And I'm so mean when I'm on Xanax. I could like probably punch the cutest dog if the cutest dog was like, stop doing that. And I would just be like, not today.
Right. Yeah, it's any sort of like pills just fuck. It's funny about Xanax though too. That shit would knock me on my fucking ass.
That's what
if
I'm
I'm doing
saying.
heroin and Xanax,
Insane.
it was like good night.
I'm a literal monster.
Good night. Yeah. So what do you when you finally made the decision to like, because you had multiple times in recovery, right? Multiple times where you're like, oh, I need to get cleaned, and then you never did. What was the last time? The last time when you're like, was that when you're like looking at yourself in the mirror and you're like, yeah, I want
that?
something?
But you want to know what? I also had a detox in a low bottom Indiget recovery, and when you're like in a room with 12 other women and you're all shitting your pants and throwing up, there's nothing fucking glamorous about getting loaded, and it kind of makes you look at yourself and you're just like, what the fuck?
Right.
You know, I'm like, first of all, this is inhumane. Can we get a bigger fucking room? Because it stinks in here, you know? But also like, fuck, I cannot keep doing this. I'm so fucking tired. I'm so tired. I was just so tired. That's literally all I can say. And I wasn't having fun anymore. I wasn't even getting high. I was just maintaining so I wasn't fucking sick. I was over it. And I kept dying when I was trying to get high. And then I was like having to rely on someone that was beating my fucking ass to revive me. You know?
Yeah, that's like Russian roulette too. He might not save me today. You know what I mean? Who knows?
Well, yeah, and like the end of my stint, I wasn't doing anything glamorous. I was like in the bathroom on like a pile of dirty fucking clothes, crying because I couldn't even get a vein because my veins were fucking flat. I was using a razor blade I have scars all over my ankles because I was cutting my ankles open to try to fish a vein out of my fucking body.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Damn.
And I was like crying, and literally I remember just like asking God every single time I would do that, can you just fucking kill me? Can you change me or can you kill me? Because I am tired.
Yeah. So many promises like the God too, like, oh.
Yeah. And they never stood. And then I remember like the last time I had gotten sober, I remember like getting with really rad women that were like, you know, you need to jump into AA. You need to fucking get a sponsor. And I got a sponsor, and that bitch whipped my ass. And I love her. You know, she made me sit down and read the Bible and AA, the big book of AA with her every single day. She dissected every single word with me. She used an AA dictionary. She made sure I understood every single fucking sentence.
Yeah,
she killed it.
Yeah,
I worked my
great.
fucking steps so thoroughly, so honestly, where it opened my eyes. And that's another thing why I'm so big on the sexual thing. When you're a woman, you cannot sexualize yourself in sobriety and like not expect it to chip away at your spirituality. Because in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, it touches on that. When you do your 4-step, there's a sex inventory. And regardless if you're letting a man put his dick inside of you or not, if you're manipulating a man using your body or your mind or anything that you're saying, that's your sexuality.
Yeah.
And that's not healthy for you, you know? And I feel like I get a lot of backlash for saying that because I do have friends that do stuff like that and I still love them. I don't look at them any differently. But for me, I know that I can't do that because it will chip away at like my spirituality. And then potentially I can lose my sobriety over it.
Well, hopefully people, like the hope, right, is that people will hang out with you and then they'll want to act like as if, you know.
100%.
So by you doing what you're doing on your platform, it's just showing women that they don't have to go down an OF, you know, routine.
That's what I'm hoping.
You don't need to be a girl that rides a bike and be an OF and all that.
To be cool.
Like, yeah, this is.
It's cool.
I can't believe. I think my friend and I, we talk about this often. It's like, man, especially like 2020 when just OF was going through the fuck crazy, right? Because nobody can do anything. And it's like, it's going to be sad because people in the rooms that we'll see, like they're going to come in and start sharing and be like, yeah, hi, my name's Jennifer and fucking, you know what I mean? At 2020, I just sold myself, you know, like because we hear it, you know, all the time. So, you know, you don't.
And like and you don't have to, but there's nothing wrong if you did that in your past or even if you're doing that in your present, but like mentally or spiritually, you might feel a little bankrupt. And that's the truth. And you want to know what? Like if you are a junkie or someone who got loaded the way that we got loaded, like when the rent is fucking due and you're spiritually bankrupt, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're going to get loaded. You know, I remember my dad went into cardiac arrest and almost died. And if I wasn't spiritually fit going through like this gnarly traumatic thing, I would have gotten so loaded. I would have not shown up for my family. I would have not prayed with my dad while he was fucking in a coma for 4 months. I would have not been there. I had to take care of my mom. I had to make sure my mom was eating. She was sleeping. She was taking care of herself. Loaded Ashley wouldn't have given a fuck.
Yeah.
And those are the things that I have to make sure that I am walking this conservative life. And when I say conservative, I'm not even really talking about politics. Like if people come on here and they're like, because politics are so crazy, I'm talking about being in a conservative-ship lifestyle and covering yourself up, not feeling so much pressure and need to really do all of these crazy cosmetic things to your body to sexualize yourself for fucking men to look at you. You're so like natural girls. I've talked to so many natural girls and they're like, I don't even like going to events anymore. Did you know that? And that makes me feel so bad because they're like, I feel like when I go to events, people don't want to talk to me because they see the girls that have like, and they're beautiful. They have those beautiful sculpted, just perfect bodies and they feel less than. And I don't want that. And that's what my main objective is to make sure that you can still be like a woman of God. You can still be a woman of sobriety. You can still have clothes on and people will still fucking think that you're cool. I don't have Botox. I don't have filler. I don't have my boobs done. I don't have my ass done. I don't have lipo. I don't have fucking anything done to my body. And you can still be fucking cool. That's my main objective. Yeah. I want women to feel comfortable and ride their bikes.
Yeah.
And not feel like they have to get drunk or loaded to do it.
Yeah. I think that you're going to do really well on your platform like that. It's funny because I was telling Dweezy, I was like, yeah, who are you having on? I'm like, this girl, Ashley. And I'm like, she's definitely an up and comer. It's funny. Like, I love watching people when they first start out. I don't know how long you've had your Instagram, but I know that you're going to start gaining traction, especially like you're recovering out loud. You're riding a motorcycle. You have your own style. That's fucking cool. You know what I mean? And
yeah, like this shirt was like $3.
Yeah, it's fucking, dude. I swear, you and my wife would be like fucking besties. Like she's all into the same sort of thing.
Yeah, see, I'm into that. I want more.
She wasn't like that before, but she's changed. She's literally changed.
I feel like there's like a group of women though that have the same mindset as me, and I feel like because of how crazy things are, it's pushing us to kind of like join together and be like, okay, yeah, you're like one of me. Yeah, like you feel how I feel. I don't know. It makes me so sad that women today are pressured to do crazy things to their body, to get loaded, to have OFs, to, go to an event and wear something low cut or, just try to feel like hot. Like you could still be hot and sexy and beautiful and cute and not have those things or do those things. Like run your fucking shit, dude. If you feel hot and you feel confident, someone is going to feel that. You could show up in sweatpants and still pretend like you're the hottest chick in the room and people will like feel your vibrations and they'll go with it.
For sure.
So just like live your life.
Have you got a lot of backlash though? Like people like
100%.
Yeah, because I was going to say you have to have some thick skin.
Some fucking fart face today just told me. I love calling people fart face and loser. Some fart face today told me, oh, I'd be really impressed if she would just change her fucking oil. Like, okay, so I have to change my oil this week. I'm going to make sure I film it and tag him in it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, are you okay? And even if I wasn't changing my own oil,
I'm referring to women. Did they ever like
100%? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because guys are gonna, of course, I see it all the time.
It's
ridiculous.
It sucks too because I am a girl's girl. Like I fucking love women. I love everybody, but I want to be like that woman that other women look up to, and I want to be like that woman that's like known for hanging out with other women. I don't want to have like a bunch of guy friends and be like, these are all my fucking homies, Yeah. I want to be that cool girl that other girls gravitate towards. But also, I do get a lot of backlash because I say the things that I say and I feel the things that I feel, and I just really want to touch on, I don't think of you any different if you disagree with me, and that's how you choose to live your life, but that's you and that's your perspective. That's not mine.
Yeah.
I don't love you any differently.
Well, it's funny how people, it's so funny how they want to act a certain way, but if somebody has their own feelings about something, like, and we share that, then like we're assholes.
They freak the fuck out.
Yeah. I've had so many people do that to where I'm like, first of all, they never even met me. They'll watch the show or follow me on Instagram, and then they think that I hate women, and this is a female writer specifically, but it's like, there's so much negativity. I'm like, you have never even met me before. Like, you don't even know who I am.
Negative on what?
Negative on what? Is that what you said?
Yeah, like what would they have to say?
They were just saying like, this individual was basically saying, I had a ride and I didn't introduce myself to her, and therefore I was a guy that just didn't support women or something like that. First of all, here's the thing. I know the backstory. I'm like, you're an OF girl. You ride a bike. That's fantastic. But I'm a married dude. I'm not going to go meet some chick that's an OF girl. That's an influencer.
Inappropriate.
Like, why would I do that? You know what I mean? But don't go around bad mouthing me because I love women writers. Like, what the fuck do you mean? You know?
First of all, too, it's not really your job to introduce yourself into other people when it's your ride.
Yeah.
And I feel like so many people go to events and they also think like, well, this person's weird and they don't talk to me. Everybody could be honing in on something. There's so much shit going on at a fucking event too. Like there's so many different things you could be caring about. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Who literally cares?
Yeah.
That's
If she had a dude, I'd probably introduce myself to the dude. You know what I mean?
I don't get woman hater vibes from you, so
Good.
that's good.
Good, yeah. Good.
And you have
nailed that.
And you have a daughter, so
Yeah, exactly.
like what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, I mean, people. I've been doing this a little bit of time now, and like honestly, like people just love to hate, and if they see some sort of success or they'll question it, you know, like
They get mad.
they get fucking mad or.
You got to just like let them eat it up though.
Oh, I don't give a shit.
That's
anymore.
the best.
I like bots and haters and all that.
Yeah.
I love it. I will dig in.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say about me, unless it is like my significant other, my parents, or my siblings.
Yeah.
I don't give a fucking shit.
Yeah.
You know, I know my truth. I'm not out here doing anything dirty, wrong, bad. I'm being a good girl and I'm living my fucking life. So if you are mad, then you need to figure out what's going on internally with you because you're clearly not doing what's making you happy. And I'm just happy. So you're mad about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You can see that I'm happy.
Yeah.
about it, too,
So fuck off.
Yeah. I'm not being fake. Frick asshole.
Yeah.
Hey, question. So what is it like, you know, growing up in like in South Orange County and then using and like, what is it like now being clean and sober?
It's cool, but it's also hard because I feel like I have this reputation. San Clemente is a pretty small town. So a lot of people either gravitated towards back me or really far away from me. I love it still. But I mean, it's different living in Orange County. I don't know how to explain it because I feel like there's so much pressure, like I kind of had touched on, to like be something that you're not. And I'm not that girl and I don't want to do any of those things. I don't really fit in. You know, I have fucking little boys pants on from Bass Pro Shop and a shirt that's $3. And these are my shoes are from the fucking, whatever that's called, the Salvation Army. I got them for $16. I mean, they're Converse still, but like, you know what I mean? Like I'm out here saving money because I want to buy a home. I want to have a fucking husband and I want to have kids and I want to be able to like have a cool home, even if it's a shithole, but like I'll YouTube some stuff. I'll figure out how to build something up.
Yeah, I'm sure
you know?
How old are you?
I'm 30.
Yeah, you're all right. You have some time.
Everybody tells me that, but I'm like I'm getting stressed.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, you have a boyfriend now?
Yeah. And like
So,
the
what's good?
love of, that's what I'm saying. I mean, and the love of my life is a little bit older than me, you know, but he's great.
What's a little bit older?
I think he's 40.
You think?
He's 40.
Wait, what's going on? Hold on. Yeah, I think we're gonna figure this out though.
He's 40.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. I hope Billy's 40.
I don't want him to be like, fuck you, lady.
Yeah.
You're fucking out here telling people I'm 40 years old. He's young for his age and he's on like his own endeavors. And I actually really appreciate him. He was like someone that kind of came along when I like wasn't even expecting it.
Yeah.
He is now sober too. He didn't really have any type of issues with like hard drugs or stuff like that. I feel like it was more out of like a solidarity or certain things that I feel like maybe it's not my place to touch on, but it is still really cool to see someone who I just found that was like normal and just like supported me and my sobriety and just like went along with it.
Yeah,
you
that
know,
is cool.
we would like go out or go to events and I feel like usually he wouldn't get hammered because he was writing, but maybe have like a beer or two. And then when I would come, he wouldn't. And I started noticing it and I was like, you can still have like a beer or whatever. It doesn't bother me. And he was like, no, it's like a respect thing. Like we can just both have some sodies. I was like, hell yeah. You know,
That's cool. I think I know a few people like that too. Like one girl got completely sober for her dude too and he relapsed and she stayed sober. Like she stayed clean and sober and he relapsed and whatever. But I mean, it's pretty fucking rad.
That is rad though.
It makes a good relationship because it makes it to where like that person really cares about you and what you're doing with your life. You know?
I feel bad too. I'm trying to make sure that Instagram stays as tasteful as possible, you know, because that is my objective. And I know it's hard for him because there are always guys that are like damn girl,
Sure.
and
For sure.
I,
He has to be really secure.
yes. And I feel so bad because if the tables were turned, I'll freak out sometimes, but I think that's a thing with everybody. Social media can be like so fucked for a relationship sometimes because you could be having a bad day and you could like wake up and I could be like, God damn it, my skin looks so bad today. And then I could maybe go on Instagram and see like that this really beautiful chick like commented on one of his pictures. And then I'm going to be like in my head all day thinking about stuff like that. And I'm like, I bet you her
Dude,
fucking skin is so
You're
good.
such an addict too. You're like fucking such a fucking
I'm like
drug
looking at 2019 of what she's been doing.
Okay, I'm going to figure you out real quick.
Yeah.
We're going to go deep, bitch.
Fuck. So I mean, I do it too. I'm totally guilty of it, and I think we all are. But at the end of the day, I also feel like a lot of people forget that people on social media are humans as well, and we all lack certain things.
Yeah, that's for sure. I've had some experiences too, and some opportunities and some growth and learning to, I mean, it's a lot to deal with, especially, I don't know, there's some people that like, oh, well, I don't really have an issue with it. And my wife doesn't care about A, B, and C, you know what I mean? But I have to be respectful too.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of times, like, I'll have my wife, when it comes to like modeling stuff for us, like I'll have my wife reach out to them, you know what I mean? And it's just kind of, I don't want to be in anybody's DMs that's going to be thinking it's inappropriate or something.
Well, and that's like so respectful. And also that's like how you can tell that you love your wife and you respect your wife. Like that's so nice to hear because I feel like, or actually I do know a couple other brands that do that as well. Low Side, Elise does that as well. She reaches out to the models and I feel like it's just an awesome respect thing. And I know that that's probably hard owning a company together because you want to promote it. But a lot of girls that promote stuff, they're like baddies. There's some bad bitches out there, and sometimes I even get stressed out when they're around. I'm like, oh my God, my heart's like beating fast, and like, so that's just a respect thing. And I totally fucking appreciate that. I think that's rad.
When it comes to the podcast, I'm like, that's a different story. I'm like, I'll go into anybody's DM if you have something cool, a story, you know what I mean? But when you're asking somebody to model, it's like kind of cringy too, in a sense. Like,
hey girl, you want to fucking put
like,
my
hey,
jacket
you look
on?
pretty good. You want to wear this tube top for me?
Yeah.
I got this cool cropped hood. Whatever. But I mean, it's really cool working with my wife too when it comes to that sort of thing because it makes it a lot easier for me. Like she does all the pictures, a lot like Elise does for Chris too. And getting like to travel, and it's just fun.
I love that.
So your dude, does he ride too?
He does ride. Yeah, he rides. He kills it too. He really kills it at riding.
Is he an Instagram guy too?
No.
Okay. Well, that's good.
It is, yeah. But I also feel bad. I don't want him to get like stressed out because of what I'm trying to do. But I also am really excited because of the way that I'm trying to do it and what I'm actually trying to do.
Yeah, my hope is, sorry to interrupt you, but my hope is that you don't stop doing that because I feel like there needs to be women like you.
So many people have told me that.
There is, and that's what's so bad too. Not bad, I should say. It's disappointing that I see girls that I know in recovery that are not doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because it's really, I feel like our obligation to recover out loud. Because people always like the first thing when they get sober is like, I'm not going to have fun anymore.
100%.
Bunch of fucking squares.
100%.
And like, that's been my focus with LFG. Like,
I have the time of my fucking life.
Yeah, me too. And I want to showcase that, right?
It's the best. Yeah.
So it's like, I wish that more people did it. And that's fine. To each their own. And not everyone's like me or, I get it too. But recover out loud a little bit, especially women too, that are riding a Harley.
Yeah.
I
feel like there's far and few in between that have the same like mindset mentality. And I just wish people would like, if they don't believe in God, don't open the Bible. But if, you're in recovery, maybe try working a program a little bit and see if that's for you. And your eyes might open up a little bit and you might be like, oh, that's why I was like feeling that thing deep down inside of me, or like something wasn't right. Because that really helped me. That's how I was able to like maintain permanent sobriety, was working a solid fucking program.
Yeah, you work in steps.
Yeah. And having a routine and a sponsor and someone telling me that like was neutral ground, right? Like she didn't have any fucking reason to tell me yes or no. Call me out on my shit. and be like, you're acting like a dumb little bitch right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get it together. Or do you want to go like run the streets and be fucking loaded or eat a fucking sack lunch? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I want to eat whatever the fuck I want to eat. I want to go to bed when I want to go to bed, and I want to be able to take a shower, you know? I don't want someone to tell me what the fuck to do anymore. That's the worst.
Yeah, hearing like a door shut, not being able to get out. I'm like, I'm so fucking good.
We're
off
beyond
all
that.
Yeah, I'm so good off all that. Do you sponsor women in the program too?
So after my brain injury, I kind of had to take a step back.
Sure.
It was really weird losing my memory.
What happened with that?
Like, what do you mean? Like how did that happen?
Yeah, how'd that happen?
So I'm a bartender too.
Okay.
I don't know if you knew that. I love bartending.
How's that?
It's fun.
Really?
Yeah, I love it because it makes me feel cool. And you want to know what? I actually feel like
It's not one of those things where like alcohol wasn't my problem, right?
No.
Okay.
No. But I can feel like I am having fun. I'm still cool. I'm still doing all these fun things. But also I can make sure that like people are drinking a safe amount. And I am like the first to be like, get out, you're cut off. You know, or do I need to call you a taxi? Have some water, eat some French fries, shit
What
like
about,
that.
hey, let me buy you a shot.
Oh, sorry, I don't drink.
Really?
I tell them all the
and that
time.
works? They don't give you a hard time?
Yeah.
What the fuck you doing here?
I'm pretty like black and white with my intentions, especially when I'm like in a professional setting. The bar that I got attacked at though was very ratchet. So I was working, it was the security's first night, and we were a tavern, so we sold food until 11. So we can't turn people away when they come in intoxicated, and it's about like 8:30. Like my regulars aren't there. You know, I had a lot of people that were in MCs that would come in and eat some food before they rode home and stuff like that. Nobody was in there yet. These two guys come in, they're super intoxicated. I tell the other guy that's working, hey, food only. You know, if they open a tab, it was like a bar back. Don't, you know, food only. He serves some fucking alcohol. They're reaching over the bar. They're trying to grab at me, do all sorts of fucking crazy shit. So I'm like trying to get security to come over to remove them. I go to give them their debit card and one of them starts choking me. So he's like choking me up against this like metal thing. And I was able to like push myself off of it, like onto him. And then the other guy saw that I was like on top of him and like kind of gaining control. He picked me up from my hair and then hit me right in my face. I have issues with my jaw. He knocked out 7, 8 of my teeth.
Oh my God.
I have extreme nerve damage all up and down my neck, my back, my temporal lobe and my frontal lobe were damaged. I had bruising and bleeding on my brain. You know, like that movie 50 First Dates when they're like, and the guy that's like, hi, I'm Tom.
Yeah.
That was me. So it was just so gnarly. And that's another thing, not to like get off topic, that I'm so extremely grateful for my significant other for. You know, because he stood by my side during that time. And man, I feel bad for him, because imagine like being with someone and they want to keep fighting with you and bringing up this topic that you're like, fuck, we already talked about this because I forgot. And I'm like, no, like we didn't talk about this. And he's like, yeah, you did. So now I'm walking around with a notepad and a paper because I can't remember anything. I feel like people thought I was so mean because I was constantly in my phone, but I was taking notes. Because I don't want to forget what people were saying. I kept having to get trigger point injections because my pain was so
How long
bad.
ago was this?
2.5 years ago now.
And you're still fighting this case?
I'm still going to court. I just went to court, and you know what the fucking judge told this guy? So the guy that choked me because he didn't cause any damage, right? I was able to get the one up on him. He's been accepted into a diversion program. So he's not going to have a fucking record. So he's supposed to be doing this certain amount of community service, and he wasn't able to complete it. It's almost been 3 years, and the judge told him, that's okay, we'll give you 4 more months.
California, baby.
What the fuck is that shit?
Yeah.
So then the other co-defendant that beat the shit out of me literally knocked me out and then just kept whipping my ass. And nobody did anything.
What was going
People
on?
got out their fucking phone and they recorded it. The security didn't do anything. They told me they didn't know that they could use physical force.
Oh my God.
My managers were telling me not to go to the hospital. I remember a sheriff pulling me aside and he was like doing the light thing with me. And he was like, okay, now that the managers aren't around, how much have you had to drink? And I was like, I don't drink. And he was like, be for real. And I was like, I don't drink. You know, at that time, I think I was like 6 years sober. I'm like, I've been sober like 6 years. And he was like, okay, you have to go to the hospital because you're showing such severe signs of impairment in your eyes that you're either like so intoxicated or you have a really bad brain injury. And that's when I was like, fuck, I have to take it serious. My significant other was at like a bachelor party. My parents were in India. By the time I got to the hospital, I was like, I wasn't even like there. Nobody knew where I was. You know, I was just in a hospital. They gave me medication. I don't even remember what they gave me. And they kept coming in and they wouldn't let me fall asleep, but I wasn't allowed to be in light because my brain injury was so severe. And then maybe 2-3 months after that, I had a migraine the whole time and ringing, and my eyes were so bad I couldn't even like go in light. It was so gnarly.
That is insane.
And I just feel like the judicial system has not had my back. Nobody has cared about me. Like, I financially suffered so much from that too. And I fucking never once resorted to getting loaded or sexualizing myself at all. I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? I started producing a bunch of my art. I started just putting everything that I possibly could out there because I literally had such bad credit card debt. I was like losing my fucking mind. When I finally started to feel right, I like knew I needed to go back to work. You know, I took my engraving super seriously. I started engraving mirrors and doing them for fucking companies and for profit and for Etsy. And then I started bartending at night. You know, I was able to save up money. I want to be able to buy a home. And
was that scary though, going back to bartending when
it was? Now I work at a bar that's more of a high-end restaurant and it's craft cocktails. We don't stay open till 2 a.m. We close at 9. You know, and there's multiple bartenders behind the bar with me. People don't go in there to get fucking hammered. The drinks are like $20+.
Yeah, you're in like a tavern bar. It's a little bit different.
It's way different. So I feel a lot more comfortable.
Was this in?
It was in San Juan Capistrano. Yeah. It was really gnarly. And it's so shitty to go to court. I like hate going to court and seeing those guys because I feel like they don't fucking care.
I know.
They don't have.
And they're not, there's zero repercussions.
Like at all. Literally at all. Like one of the guys, I was gearing up for trial and I had to take work off. And they told me like, oh, well, he fired his attorney. So the new attorney needs 5 months for discovery. Yeah, and it was because he didn't, normal. It's because, I mean, it is, but it's because he didn't want to fucking go to jail for the holidays.
Right, exactly. Jesus. That's rough.
Yeah, I'm so like resentful and I have so much anger towards that. Yeah. And I feel like that has also like deterred me from making friends. And I was really nervous to come today. So nervous because this is like my first time like talking on like a platform after my brain injury and trying to remember things and trying to make sure that I still sound intelligent and I'm able to get like my message that I want out. It's really nerve-wracking because sometimes like I have an issue with sleeping and I'll get super manic now and I'll like feel that weird thing in the back of my mind where I don't feel normal and I can't remember anything. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then I have to like take a step back and be like, what is happening? And then I need to prioritize sleeping. And I like will have to turn my phone off and shut everything out because I start to lose my mind. I've been diagnosed with dementia. I have temporal neurocognitive disorder. So it's not a matter of when I get dementia, it's a matter of if my dementia progresses or not. So at like any day I could wake up and lose my fucking mind.
Literally.
Wow. I wasn't able to ride my motorcycle for a year because of my brain injury. You know, my significant other took my bike because he was like, your bitch ass is going to fucking try to ride that thing. And he was working on it the whole time. And I was like, what is taking you so long? And it wasn't until I felt better. He was like, girl, I tricked you. Sorry. I mean, they took my M1 away, but I'm still out there fucking grinding. You know, I'm technically not supposed to be on a bike, but that's the lifestyle that I chose for myself. You know, I'm okay if something happens to me. Like, I know that that's what I signed up for. And that's like a shitty thing to talk about, but it's the truth of being in this lifestyle.
Well, I can tell you right now, you've come a long way then because you speak really well. You're on point, and for conducting a podcast, and I've done this plenty of times to where like I don't really have to do much. And that's what makes a great podcast is when I don't have to talk.
I appreciate that.
You know, and you just can tell a story. So, I mean, that's really bravo because that's pretty sad, really.
It's scary. It's super sad.
Well, you're a pretty brave person though, just from going back into that same sort of thing, you know, because at the end of the day, when people, like, as you know, when people are intoxicated at any point, they can do things.
100%.
So, man, that's unfortunate. I mean, it sucks. I wonder why you needed to go through that, you know, because I feel like there's always a reason for what, but it's like, damn. And not to mention too, you know, you had history of domestic violence already, you know, so yeah. I'm sure that
it was not a good feeling. Mm-hmm. And they were not smaller men. They were very big, staturous men, and they were, I think, more than intoxicated. And it was like just such an insane situation. And after like dealing with domestic violence and having partners in the past that were not good to me, and then dating someone that is very scary, you know, my significant other right now is a very big badass motherfucker, and going through something like that, and then also like looking at him and how he like beats himself up like, fuck, I should have been there, because he's like the type of guy when you're like walking down the street and he like makes sure you're on the right side, you know, like that type of chivalry stuff. He's a man. And it's just so gnarly that I did go through that, because I remember like when I had started dating this person, I was like, I feel protected. Like in all aspects of my life, I feel protected. Like I don't sometimes pay attention to my sexual awareness like at all. But when he's there, I can like really let my guard down.
Sure.
Like he's so alpha that I can really like be feminine and let my fucking guard down. And he was out of town when that happened. And I do feel so bad, because I see like the hurt and the pain also in him, and how he has to like navigate through that. Seeing me be like down and out and having to go to court and like get upset and cry, and like there's nothing you can do at that point.
Yeah, you're completely fucking powerless.
There's nothing you can do.
Does he go to the court with you too?
He has a couple times. If it's not a big court date, I kind of just ask him not to, because I don't want that on him.
Yeah.
And especially when I know it's just going to be discontinued. But if I have to be there to talk over like restitution or with the district attorney, I'll be there.
Yeah.
But I don't want him to take work off to sit there to be upset.
Like
For sure.
The like actual see, you know, have a visual of what these guys look like now.
And they like smile.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, the victim's present. And they're like,
like that's
what did I do to you? Like,
That's
I just tried to give
crazy.
you your fucking debit card back, you asshole.
Yeah,
what the
right.
fuck?
That's wild. So, I mean, the fact that your memory can just like go away from it is crazy.
Your brain is a muscle that can relearn.
And you ride a motorcycle.
Yeah.
You
Isn't
know
that
what
the
I mean?
gnarliest thing? But you want to know what's crazy though? Is seriously, like, I felt so bad. Like 80% of my day, I had no idea what was going on. And I honestly feel like I might cry talking about it, which I hate that we're being recorded. But I like remember like the first time I was able to ride my motorcycle, and I like knew that that's what I was supposed to be doing. And I remember telling my significant other, because he was like, I don't fucking want you on your bike. You know, like you just got the shit beat out of you and you don't even have a memory. And I was like, I know that like this is going to like bring me back to myself. And it did. And like the first couple of months, he was like, I swear to God, can you just stay on PCH? You know, like don't go on the freeway. And I was like, no. I went on the freeway.
Yeah, you're like, no.
I went on the freeway, and I remember like the feeling of just like the wind beating my fucking ass, and I like knew exactly what to do. Like I knew, although I didn't remember what I was supposed to get at the grocery store, or what I was supposed to do that day, or who had called me fucking an hour ago and what we talked about. I knew what the fuck to do on my bike, and that I know wholeheartedly brought me back to myself.
How long did you suffer through that? Your memory of being completely lost like that?
A year and a half.
That's crazy.
Like 80% of my day, I had no idea what the fuck was going on.
And what did you do to, get it back?
Like little kid stuff, actually.
Really?
You know, like the card games.
Yeah.
I would do stuff like that. I would do Quizlet. I would go to the neurologist like every other week, and they would give me like little tests to do. They would test me. They would tell me to do certain exercises. I took certain supplements. I would eat certain like foods that were like brain foods, and I would exercise and prioritize my diet. I lost over 100 pounds during that time, because I just completely changed everything I was doing. And I was like, I need to take care of my fucking body, because my body is like not good right now. Like we're not good, fam. We're not good. We're struggling. And every day I just would try to wake up and have a positive mental attitude every day. And I like, if I would forget, I just like kept going. My parents would give me like positive affirmations. My significant other would give me positive affirmations. And I just kept trying to go. 6 months into that, my dad almost died and went into cardiac arrest and was in the hospital. And I was trying to navigate like my memory and my injury, but also be there for my parents. And it was like so fucking traumatic. And I feel like that actually made me get my shit together, because my mom couldn't digest what the doctors were saying. So I had to. And I took so many notes. I read so many books during that time. And I just literally sat in a hospital for 4 to 6 months with my head down, reading and playing little kid card games, like memory games. And eating good, packing snacks.
You brought that back up with your dad. And I wanted to ask that. So that's pretty amazing, because I know my dad died from a heart attack, and it was like, boom, done. So the fact that he's still, I mean, it sucks. It's something you said he was in a coma for 4 months.
It was insane. Like he went into cardiac arrest. My dad is a very big, strong, blue collar man, Italian Sicilian from Boston. You know, my dad is a manly man as well. And my dad, right, which we had found out when he was in the hospital, just cruised through 5 heart attacks. Never went to the hospital, never complained about it, nothing.
Did he know that he was having a heart attack though?
He calls it agita because it's like an Italian thing. So it's like more of like a heartburn. So 2 weeks before he went to cardiac arrest, he told his doctor, I have really bad heartburn all the time. What's going on? And they fucking gave him like a prescription for like Tums.
Yeah.
They didn't do any tests. What the fuck is that? So my dad goes into cardiac arrest. They have to put something called an impella in his body that's making his heart turn blood. It's the only thing that's keeping him alive. Then we had to freeze his body and he was in a coma for over a month. And it was like so fucking traumatic. It was so fucking traumatic. And we kept trying to wake him up and wake him up and wake him up. And like, you can't be like extubated unless you can show like a physical something that you understand, because we had to make sure that he didn't have brain damage. That's why he was frozen, because when you lose oxygen, I think it's longer than 8 minutes, like you're gone. There's nothing they could do. And so like my poor sister too was like 4 months pregnant. We're like living in this fucking waiting room and we're just like praying every single day that my dad's okay. We're in a Catholic hospital, so the priest comes every day and we're praying and we're doing all of this stuff and we're just hoping for the best. And my dad wakes up, right? And they're like, hey, your dad has congestive heart failure in every single artery and your dad's heart is clogged. And they're basically saying we're going to just have to take the machine out and he's probably going to die. So like, that's really gnarly. So I'm trying to sit there and I'm trying to be like, fuck, okay. And also like, I'm looking at this person that I love more than anything be like trying to digest the information that he's getting told he's going to die, which is so gnarly, you know? And I remember the doctor being really cool and being like, we're going to try to do something. And if it doesn't work, we're going to put him on something called ECMO. And we're going to like fly him to a different institute, which ECMO is like an artificial heart. So the night before his surgery, he gets a phone call and they're like, hey, we're going to come pick you up. We're going to put you in a helicopter and we're going to fly you to USC Medical. We think there's a doctor there that wants to take a chance on helping you. And we're like, what the fuck? You know? So my dad gets airlifted to USC. He's there and they're like, we don't think we can get every single fucking artery unclogged, you know, but we're going to go for 2. And we're going to do the 2 biggest fucking ones. The whole left ventricle of your heart is dead, dude. But like, we think we can fucking do something with you on medication. You should be okay. And they did it. And my dad had to be awake during open heart surgery.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
That's
you know
nuts.
what I mean? And my dad fucking survived. And during that time too, it's crazy because I was having such a hard time with God. And after I got beaten up, I really was like not in touch with God. And I remember going to my dad's church and my dad would ask me to get him holy water so I could bless him every day, you know, at the hospital. And I remember like sitting at this pond because it was closed and there was like all these bunnies and I had this like weird come to God moment. And I'm like, remember too, I'm like not all there because I have a brain injury. And I remember I just said the Lord's Prayer, you know, and the Lord's Prayer is basically you offering yourself to God if he just helps you this one time. And I fucking, when my dad came home from the hospital, he had to wear like a defibrillator vest and shit that would like shock him. And then it was like more of a battle for him to get well enough to get a pacemaker. And then he was able to, and he was okay. And I remember after that, I was like, I fucking promised myself. And like, now I know I need to be like a woman of God and walk with God and like promote that. You know, because my dad is alive. My dad is alive and well today. Is he the best in his health? No, but it has been over 2 years.
Yeah. How old is he?
I think my dad, I want to say.
Yeah, you're not good with I'm sorry.
I think my dad's like, I want to say like 62.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's still pretty young, you know.
100%.
But that's like my dad. He died at 46 from a heart attack. Boom, like that, massive. Just
so gnarly.
So it's what a scary thing. Man, what a brave guy though. That's awesome. Man, look, honestly, I'm gonna have to cut this short because man, I can just talk to you for a while. You know what I was gonna suggest? Honestly, you should probably consider doing something like this too, because if you speak really well and this is just another way to like recover out loud and have people come on.
Yeah.
Too, like your stories, like we only touch surface, you know what I mean?
For
it's very
sure.
surface level. Like we weren't really digging deep too much. So, but fantastic. Like I appreciate. I'll definitely have you come back on. We didn't even talk about motorcycles really. You know? What I mean?
That sucks.
A little bit, but listen, appreciate you coming on.
Of course, I had so much fun.
We'll do it soon.